Welcome to Team Talk. I'm Craig Zimmerman, and today we've got a host of Mariners here. Coach Daryn Letson, welcome.
Thank you.
Lincoln Osterlin, welcome. And Nick Ruffino. Got offensive guy, offense and defensive guy. They're going to put you on defense too?
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to highlight a little bit of what happened last year, talk a little bit about next year. It's out of our mind, sort of, because we're several months later, but when you go through the schedule, you sort of pick right up where you left off. Mariners were 10-3 in the season. The 10-3 might be what I'll call a little bit of a misnomer from the standpoint of you look at 10-3, but we went to the semifinals, and that's sort of a big deal, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
So let's. I'm going to start at the end of the season and go back from there. You play a team like the semifinal game, Jackson Lumen Christie. Now, quite honestly, I look at it and I say it's almost like playing a college team, right?
Yeah, they were obviously very talented, and you're kidding yourselves by saying that they're not, or if they weren't talented. I mean, they won 3 in a row with the one they won last year. Obviously, everybody knows they had the back, and just talking to guys that have been around the program really for obviously quite some time. I believe that back next to maybe the kid at that Mount Clemens had back in the day, Damian Platt and Tyrone Wheatley. That kid might be the best back we've seen in, that 35, 30, whatever it's been, right? 35, 38-year span. So credit to them. They graduated a ton of kids. We believe we were 24 minutes away from playing for our, third state championship, and led by these two and a couple others, Chase Ramsey and Aiden Perrick and Zach Andrews. We've had a real good off season, so we'll be ready to kick off in Armada, and we'll see what we can make of it this year.
Yeah. Now, guys, I'll bring it up to you two. Warren Michigan Collegiate. That was a game for the ages.
Yeah.
I think it was sort of like a heavyweight boxing game in that every punch you took, they were taking one too. And every time you did something good, they came back, and because you knew that they were a threat any down, right?
Yeah.
So tell me about, from an offensive perspective, what went into that game?
Just slow the game down and keep their offense off the field was our main goal. Pretty
successful when you think about what happened the first play of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, we lucked out with that, right? I mean, you can.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times you line up and hit the ball right off a kid's chest or wherever it hit them, But credit to our kids, our team, our players. They did a nice job executing the game plan, and Lincoln's exactly right. That was, offensively, we had to control the ball, which I think we did for about 35 minutes of 48 there of the game, and then just try and limit the touches they had in offense, because it didn't matter where you were on the field. They were skilled enough. It didn't matter. They could score, at any point in time. And then if we could control it on offense, if we just got to stop here or there, which we were able to in the second half, that would help it work out for us. And fortunately, it did.
Yep. That was a big win, 10-point win. You fairly, I remember the tempo of that game. You were up by a score, then 2 scores, but you never really felt comfortable because those guys, any given play, they could run 90 yards. Yeah. It seemed like a couple times they did. You just try to contain them. Before that, you beat Clintondale, you beat Detroit Central, Jackson, East Point, South Lake, Centerline, St. Clair, crosstown rivalry. Put it on them pretty good. I think you hit them a couple times more than they thought they would. Madison Heights as well. You look at a lot of seasons and you look at what happens in different games, and a downside is you lost to your arch rival Marysville. But I'll say, I went and looked at the numbers. In the last 26 games against Marysville, we're 23-3. So the tide obviously turned for many, many years. So what makes that Marysville loss okay is the fact that you go to the semifinals.
It just gave us a boost throughout. Like, once we lost to them, we knew we had to pick it up in practice.
Okay.
And just watch more huddle and just focus on the small things.
Okay. Opening game lost to Armada by a point. We've done it a couple times, but I'm sure that. And one of the things I thought during the season too is that, like you said, you get then to focus, because it's like every time you touch the ball, it's imperative that you do something positive with it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think with this this program was built, Craig, many years ago. Lincoln's dad, Brandon, played for it when it was really just starting to take off there and grow through Coach Bob as the head coach, and then Coach Glodich and Scarcelli as assistants, and obviously they had their turn as head coaches. And I think sometimes people overreact to a loss, and I'm not saying losses are good, but we try and build things to give us the opportunity for success in November. So if that means if you lose to a good team like Armada, or you get beat by a good team in Marysville last year, at least you can go back and review some things and put things in perspective. Obviously, would we like to have those games back, a couple plays here or there, and play better in them or do better? I'm sure you would from a competitive standpoint, but through the course of time, I think this program has shown that it knows how to handle those defeats, and it knows how to bounce back, and it knows how to prepare itself to at least give itself an opportunity for those playoff runs in November. And obviously, we all know, right, matchups and health are key to November. And talking about health, we're extremely excited to have Nick back this year. Nick was coming into his own really in Game 3 when he hurt his knee there against St. Clair. We're extremely excited to have him back. He's done a phenomenal job getting himself ready for his senior season, and he's going to step right back in at linebacker and help us out more at fullback this year. So that will be huge in regards to what we're able to do this year.
I know Nick will be ready to go in the fall. Your mother will probably be nervous as all heck, right?
Oh, yeah.
But should be fine. So you sort of missed most of your junior year, but I think I mentioned you during the fall. At least it didn't happen in your senior year.
Oh, yeah.
I'm
really grateful that it didn't happen.
A lot of people don't know something that I'll bring up here today. Do you know this guy here is related to the Harpo curse?
No, and I don't. Probably through his dad?
No.
Would it be Lyle? Would it be
through his grandmother's side.
Okay, his grandma. Okay.
You never heard about the Harpo curse?
No.
Yeah. Oh, you never heard that, eh?
Oh boy, that's a story for another day.
Yeah.
when we have more time.
Go ask Grandpa about the Harpo curse.
Yeah.
Recapping, I went through what I'll call the modern era. Sometime around the time we won the first state championship, 2007. 9 district, and I could be off by something, but I thought I went through it pretty good. 9 district champions. 7 regional champions, 4 semifinal wins, and 2 state championships. So pretty good numbers. And you guys, as younger guys, probably saw a lot of those games as a brother or as a water boy or as a second, third, fourth grader, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me anything more what you're thinking about going into training. What's going on in the weight room?
We're all just competing, getting better every day, and motivating each other.
How many kids showing up on a daily basis?
Quite a bit.
A lot,
Yeah, they're doing a nice job. I know it's tough to put a number to that right now just because of spring sports.
Yep.
But during the winter, when we were right into it, we had real good, real consistent, good turnouts. Right now, kids like Lincoln, who's in track, they get their gym time in at gyms away from school, which is great. Nick's getting his lifts or his workouts in along with finishing up his rehab. And like I said, you have others like Zach Andrews, Chase Ramsey, Aiden Perrick, Austin Brown. We have Jacob Armstead, Wally Azar, Jacob Loper, the younger kids pulling their weight. Nate Beaker's doing a really nice job. So, I feel confident we're going to be in a real good spot. It's a motivated group. I feel like the leadership that we had last year has sort of carried over into this year, and these guys have picked up and just sort of ran with it and done a real nice job. And them, like I said, along with Aiden, Chase, and Zach are going to have us in a real good spot here come May, or actually tomorrow morning when we start our classroom session, start our install stuff. So we're off and running here. We'll pick it up as the months go on, and August to be here before you know it.
Well, the other thing too is you look at JV and how JV had a good season too. So you're going to have a lot of those kids coming up that were out their playoff time.
Yeah. That's the other thing with the playoffs. Teams that are fortunate enough to make big runs is those kids just get experience and exposed to so much more through the course of that I think it does help as they get older, right, and get ready to play varsity football.
Okay, well, have a good spring, and we'll see you around summertime. When's the first 7-on-7?
What did I say, June 17th?
Something like
Yeah.
that.
June 17th at the stadium, yeah. So
Okay.
we'll kick that circuit off then. We got our classroom session install kicking off tomorrow, and then we got our camp, June 9th, 10th, and 11th, guys, somewhere in
Yep.
there at the end of school. So they're excited. They've done a nice job. They'll be ready. They'll continue to do a nice job. And what's nice is I feel this is another team that's player-led, not so much coach-led. Anytime you have a player-led team, I think that bodes well for success.
Okay, thanks for coming, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Team talk, here we go.
See how easy?